Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time again for us to do our preseason predictions for the college football season. We're going to be focusing on the Kansas State Wildcats today, looking at their schedule, going game by game, breaking every single matchup down, and we're going to try to predict their final record, which games they're going to win, which games they're going to lose, and we're also going to give our final score predictions for every single game. We know that the 2025 season, it is almost here. We've been waiting for a while. We cannot wait. But now is our time to focus on the Kansas State Wildcats coming out of the Big 12. They've won the Big 12. It's been a couple seasons, been since 2022, but obviously this team, one of the best coached teams in the Big 12. They get the most out of their players. First things first, though, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? What are your thoughts on the Kansas State Wildcats? What do you think their final record is going to be when the regular season ends? Make sure to drop your comments down there, and I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out the pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. So the Kansas State Wildcats football team, bringing back a lot of veterans here. Everything is in front of them. Let's call it like it is. The Big 12 is honestly completely up for grabs right now. It is anyone's conference. Vegas currently, right now, is predicting Kansas State to come in at 8.5 wins. So that's kind of the marker there of if they're going to overachieve, if they're going to underachieve. Anything under 9 wins would be an underachievement on the season. But this team is more than capable with their schedule, with their coaching, with the talent on the roster, where they can at least get 9 wins. If they win the Big 12, they're going to find themselves in the Final 12 in the playoffs here, and they have the talent to do so. They're bringing back the veteran quarterback, Avery Johnson, coming back. After throwing for 2,800 yards last season, can he be the third Kansas State quarterback ever to throw for 3,000 yards? He's a junior this season. He's experienced in this system with one of the best overall coaches in all of college football, Kleiman, coming in here. He's back for, his 7th or 8th season at Kansas State. He gets the most out of his players. This team has 3 stars, a couple 4 stars. He plays, he coaches to his skill players' talent. Whatever their strengths are, that's what he focuses on, and he gets them to play their best, their highest capabilities. They're going to have a better defense than last season. They're going to have a better offense than last season. Yes, they lost DJ Giddens, who was one of the best running backs in the nation last season, but Dylan Edwards showed in the bowl game what he's capable of, running for 222 yards. They have Joe Jackson at the tight end. They have Oakley, Swanson, and a veteran experienced group at the wide receiver. This wide receiver core is going to take massive strides forward from last season. Tibbs, Bradley, Jace Brown, Lockett, Medford, Davis. A lot of weapons there in that wide receiver room, and that's definitely going to help Avery Johnson out. He's had a lot of pressure on him. He has to make the plays. This season, he's going to be more of a facilitator, rely on the skill player talent around him, and you know what he can do. A lot of guys were coming after Avery Johnson this offseason, trying to get him to transfer. He stayed loyal to Kansas State, stayed loyal to Kleiman. It's going to work wonders here. He's a mobile, dual-threat quarterback, but he still keeps his eyes down the field. He extends plays with his legs. He's a hard guy to tackle. He's actually a lot bigger than you would think he is, and this defense, they're going to be much, much improved over last season. Right now, like I said, 8.5 wins. That's the mark. That's what we're going to be basing everything off of this season. But let's not waste any more time. Let's start running through the schedule game by game. Kansas State, they're going to open up the regular season Saturday, August 23rd, week 0 versus Iowa State in Dublin, Ireland. Why are these two teams going to Ireland? I don't know why, but it is what it is. Whenever you're traveling across the country, you get some crazy games sometimes. The craziest things can happen. Whatever you were expecting, completely throw that out the window. Teams are already pretty rusty, pretty shaken week 1, and now you're in a completely different country on the other side of the globe, so it's going to be a fun one to watch. Iowa State, you have to take this game seriously. You have to take this team seriously. This is Matt Campbell, just as talented as Kleiman in getting the most out of his players. 3 stars, 4 stars. This team's going to be physical. They're going to be disciplined. They want to control the line of scrimmage, but so does Kansas State. That's what makes it so fun. Matt Campbell has beat Kleiman 4 of the last 5 matchups. Obviously, when they played in 2022, Kansas State won that one. They won the Big 12, but Iowa State is coming off of a Big 12 championship appearance last season. Yes, they lost to Arizona State, but they showed what they were capable of. They have back at the quarterback position, veteran, experienced quarterback in the system. They want to control the game clock. They want to run the ball down your throat. Kansas State, they're going to approach this game the same way, and they have a quarterback who can extend plays with his legs. This game is probably going to be decided in the second half. It's going to be a very close matchup, but I think Kansas State is ultimately going to get the better here. They're going to win this one, but it's going to be extremely close. I have the Wildcats walking away with the win 27-24, beating one of their primary rivals to win the Big 12 this season. This is one of the teams with the best odds to win the Big 12. I have Kansas State beating them early on, starting out conference play 1-0, starting out the season 1-0. And the very next game, you want to get back home, traveling all the way back across the country, back to the U.S. Saturday, August 30th, our true Week 0 game versus North Dakota. North Dakota, you always have to keep your eye on them. One of the better FCS rosters in all of college football. But Kansas State, they excel at playing these FCS teams. They're going to be talented. Coming off of that very physical game, you want to make sure that you take this game seriously. This is a talented team, but Kansas State should obviously have the edge, especially when it comes to depth, physicality, size, speed. But the Iowa State game is going to wear you out right out the gate. But thankfully, you still have fresh legs. The season just started. You're going to be able to run the score up here, even in the first half. I have Kansas State winning this one 48-17, and they're starting out the year 2-0. And the next game we're going to take a look at Saturday, September 6th versus Army. You have to respect Army. They run the triple option, one of the harder offenses to prepare for, one of the harder offenses to stop. The thing about Army is they have extremely long possession. They play ground and pound, triple option football. They are rarely going to be throwing the ball. They're going to control the time of possession, the game clock. They have like 10 to 12 minute possessions every single possession. It gets crazy. They suck up quarters. It is slogging, old school 1950 style football. You have to play disciplined defense. You have to have a great front seven. Your corners have to play lockdown, but they're not going to be facing that many passes. It's going to come down to that front seven, the D-line, the linebackers. They better be on point here. Thankfully, Kansas State, they are familiar with playing these service academy schools. I have Kansas State walking away with the win, but it's going to be a close one. Probably the first, 1 to 2 quarters. That's when Kansas State pulls away. They're going to win this one 34-17, and they're 3-0. Getting back into Big 12 play here, Saturday, September 13th. You need a week off probably because you started out the season kind of early. You're going to be at Arizona, going to Arizona to play them. McMillan gone, Fafita. They had a good quarterback wide receiver combo the last 2 seasons. That's been broken up now. McMillan was one of the best wide receivers in the entire country. Basically a one-man show at Arizona. He's gone. Kansas State, you are going to have the edge here, but after 4 straight games, after starting the season early, fatigue might be starting to set in, might be a little tired here. 2 of your first 4 games are Big 12 conference games. This has potential upset alert written all over it. Do I think Kansas State is going to lose this one? No, but I have this game circled. Take this game seriously. If you don't bring your A game, if you get caught looking at the next couple weeks in Big 12 conference play, you might drop this game. Avery Johnson, climb and keep your boys focused. I have Kansas State walking away with the win, but I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game because they're starting to get a little wore out. They win this one 32-27, and they start out the season 4-0 and 2-0 in Big 12 conference play. And then another conference game next Saturday, September 27th versus UCF. Gus Malzahn is gone. Scott Frost is back in. Scott Frost has to retool this roster, has to rebuild this roster back to the style of play that he wants the Knights to play here. They're going to have speed. They're going to be spread. They're going to be moving up tempo extremely fast, but he doesn't have the skill players just yet. Might take him a couple seasons in the Big 12 to be able to get that roster back to what they had when he went undefeated in the regular season. A lot has changed since then. It's practically been, seems like a full decade at this point. Doesn't usually work the second time around. He is back for seconds at UCF. I do wish him the best. I do think he just should have stayed there. But it is what it is. Hopefully he can resurrect the brand, what he created 10 years ago. But I think Kansas State, they're going to control this game. They just have the better depth. They're in the same scheme, same system. The Wildcats walk away with the win here. It's going to be a higher scoring game. They win it 44-21, and they're 5-0. And this next game is honestly a very difficult one to call because this is 2 evenly matched teams. You have Baylor, and you're going to be at Baylor, Waco, Texas, Saturday, October 4th. The Baylor Bears, Dave Aranda on the hot seat last season, Sawyer Robinson and company. The strides they took forward down the stretch, the first season looked awful. They finished the regular season with 6 straight wins, saving Dave Aranda's job, giving them a lot of momentum coming into this season. Some people have this team circled right now as a potential underdog to not just compete, but win the Big 12 potentially. They start out the season with Auburn. That's going to be a massive game. If they win that one, they are going to be coming into this game rolling. They are going to be hot. They're going to have a lot of momentum, a lot of wind at their back here. You have to really look at this game. This is one of those games, if you're coming in here limping, you might lose this game. Kansas State would have played a lot of consecutive games at this point. They're going to want to break here. They're going to want to win this game. Baylor is going to be very difficult to play. Dave Aranda is a defensive-minded coach. They're going to have a better defense than they had last season. They have the experienced veteran quarterback, Sawyer Robinson, coming back another year in this system. He's going to work wonders. He was pushing the ball down the field last season, running when he had to run. Kansas State, the way they win this game is with their ground game. I honestly call this one a 50-50 matchup. Would I be surprised if Kansas State lost? No. Would I be surprised if they win? No. So which way am I ultimately going to go? It is practically a pick-em matchup. As of right now, though, I'm going to go with Kansas State walking away with a very close, high-scoring win. They win this one 38-34, 6-0. Guys, you can easily lose this one. If you do, the entire season is still in front of you. You would be 5-1 at that point, but I have them being undefeated at Week 6, and they are 6-0. And the next game we're going to be taking a look at Saturday, October 11th versus TCU. This is another sleeper game. Keep this one circled. TCU, do not underestimate the Horned Frogs here. Really good offense. The downside for them is they give up a buttload of points. This game could potentially turn into a very easy shootout. TCU last season, one of the top 10 passing teams in the nation. Sonny Dykes, air raid. They still run the ball, but Josh Hoover last year threw for 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns. Schools were coming after him left and right. He stayed loyal to TCU. They're going to have a really good wide receiver core. They're going to have a good running back room. They're going to have a good tight end, but it's all based around pass catchers, getting skill position players in space, feeding them the ball, letting them do what they do. Josh Hoover is going to get his, so Avery Johnson has to come into this game prepared for a potential shootout, but Kansas State, they have the better defense. They're going to have the better ball control team, but TCU obviously will have the better passing offense. This could easily turn into a shootout, could turn into an upset win for TCU, but I'm going to go with Kansas State winning a very, very close one here, 32-28, and they're 7-0. Really good season so far. And what do you know? You have your in-state rival next Saturday, October 25th at Kansas, going to play the Jayhawks here. This is not basketball. This is football. Kansas, another extremely well-coached team, getting the most out of their players on the roster, adapting the play calling to the skill position players. You're going to have Daniels back at the quarterback position for Kansas. They actually finished last season really hot, finished last season on a 4-5 game winning streak. The big issue for them was they came into the season like pre-ranked top 25. They laid eggs to start the year, got out to one of the worst starts in the entire country. Then Daniels got things under control, kept the turnovers down, started playing smart, efficient football, and that's where they actually reached what they were capable of. With Neal last season, they could have had easily an 8-10 win season last year. They just got off to that rough start. Will they be able to carry that momentum into this season? Whenever you have a rivalry game, take the records, throw them out of the window. Anything can happen. This game's going to be close. You guys can call me crazy. You've had some really tough games, some tough Big 12 games. You are due for an upset at some point. Kansas State favored up to this point of the season. I'm going to go with Kansas winning a very, very close game. 27-24, the Kansas Jayhawks win this one. Kansas State drops to 7-1. Kansas State fans, do not tune out right now. The entire season is still in front of you. You only have one loss, still in line to make that Big 12 championship. And then what do you know coming up next Saturday, November 1st versus Texas Tech. Texas Tech Red Raiders, the number one transfer portal class, not in the Big 12, in the entire country. They threw a buttload of money at this team. Their defense last season was completely atrocious. It was an awful joke. They were giving up like 35, 36 points a game. They were scoring 35, 36. Every single game was a shootout no matter what. But still, they had an overall really good year. Joey McGuire back as the head coach. Good football coach. Going to be focused on the offensive side. The defense just has to get a little better. Morton back at the quarterback position. They're going to have a senior, junior-laden team bringing in a lot of transfer portal guys. They have to have a good season here. This is a potential top 25 Texas Tech team. With the amount of money they threw at them, zero excuses. They're also an underdog to potentially compete in the Big 12 championship. The Big 12, it is a gauntlet, a lot of evenly matched teams. You guys, again, can call me crazy here. After that gauntlet of games that you've played consecutively straight, winning, pummeling teams, winning shootouts, winning close games, I'm going to go with Texas Tech winning this one. It's going to be close, though. They win it 28-24. Kansas State drops to 7-2. Still, even with two losses here, zero reason to panic. Don't forget, Vegas had you at 8.5 wins. Right now, you're sitting at 7-2, and you still have 3 games left over. And one of the longest tenured coaches in the country, Mike Gundy's squad, you're going to be visiting them Saturday, November 15th at Oklahoma State. What a letdown this team had last season. Came into the season preseason top 25. You had Ollie Gordon. Nothing went right for the Cowboys last year. They couldn't move the ball on the ground. The offensive line, which was supposed to be top 10, that was supposed to be their strength, was their massive weakness. They couldn't throw the ball, couldn't run the ball. They couldn't stop anyone on defense. Everything went awful. They were not a bowl-eligible team last year. Mike Gundy, he knows what he's doing. Whenever they have a bad season, they always respond with a good season. Vice versa, this team is going to be ready to go. But I also think Kansas State, coming off 2 consecutive back-to-back losses, they are not going to want to drop this one. They're going to be out for revenge. Some of the things that were not working, they're going to respond with getting those things fixed. Kansas State rebounds off the double losses with a strong win here, a dominating win. They take this one 33-20, and they're back in the win column, and they're sitting at 8-2. And after playing Mike Gundy, you have to play Kyle Whittingham, another extremely long-tenured head coach, one of the longest tenured, top 3 in the country, smart coach, disciplined. They're going to play smash-mouth football. They run the ball. They play elite defense. Cam Rising, he's that storm that's been hovering over Utah for seasons. He is finally gone. They don't have a quarterback who's going to play one game and then get knocked out for the entire season. The one thing that I appreciate about Utah, and this is at Utah, a very difficult place to play, they force you to play their style of football. They slow down your offense. They slow everything down. They suck up clock. They always run the ball well. They're going to have a great kicker, great special teams, great defense, and they're always prepared and ready to upset the more talented team. Kansas State coming off that really good win versus Oklahoma State. I think this is potentially one of those games that sneaks up to you. This is a gauntlet of a Big 12 schedule. You play every tough team in the Big 12, and the Big 12 is going to cannibalize itself this season. But no matter what, all these teams have a true shot to make the Big 12 championship. I have Utah pulling off the upset here at home in Utah. They win this one. Lower scoring game, 23-17, and Kansas State is 8-3. One game left. If you win that, you will have overachieved the Vegas odds. And this was a really good game last season, finishing out the season Saturday, November 29th versus the Colorado Buffaloes, coming to Kansas State. Colorado, obviously, Deion Sanders, he's going to have his entire head coaching staff, the coordinators, returning to run it back for another season. Shedeur Sanders is gone. Travis Hunter's gone, but Deion Sanders is doing what he's doing. He brought in a couple 5-stars, 4-stars. He's bringing in a lot of transfer portal players. They're going to be talented. They're going to be able to move the ball. They actually led the Big 12 in sacks last season. Really good defensive line, but their D-line guy, he's off to Miami. Still, they're going to be talented, but having to replace the production from Shedeur Sanders and from the reigning Heisman winner Travis Hunter, those guys can't leave, and you don't expect any type of step back. You have to rebound, set the new foundation, use that as a building block going forward. This was a very close game. Very fun game last season. Went down to the fourth quarter, down to the final one, or down to the final possession. I don't think that's going to be the case here. Kansas State predicted at 8.5 wins. They want to overachieve that. They're still in line to play in the Big 12 championship here. I have them winning this game handedly. They win it 38-20. I have Kansas State finishing the regular season with a 9-3 record. Having been predicted at 8.5, that means they overachieved. At 9-3, guys, don't roll your eyes at that. That could easily still get you in the Big 12 championship. If you win that, you're at 10 wins, conference champion. You are going to make the playoffs. Guys, that's our predictions for our 2025 Kansas State football team for the regular season. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, by all means, drop them below. Do you agree? Disagree? What are your thoughts on Kansas State this year? What do you predict their final record to be? Make sure to leave it in the comment section, and I will respond to every single comment. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, make sure to check out the pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there, and I would definitely appreciate it. And, of course, as always, thank you for watching.